nice.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to For Real Sisters. We are the For Real Sisters. Hi, everyone. I am Patricia Winfield. You are?
I'm Lois.
They don't even know who they are no more.
I'm Charlene.
I am Karen.
So that's all of us, Trisha. It's Karen's phone.
Mute.
Okay.
Okay.
So today we're going to be discussing.
Everybody finish introducing themselves.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I didn't hear her say her name.
Yes, she did.
Oh my.
You are so.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh my.
your left ear ain't working.
Oh my sisters.
Clean it out. Just
All
That's the
righty.
key.
I'm sorry. So tonight we're going to talk about domestic violence and breast cancer awareness. And so, since I am the bossy one, I guess I'll get started. So everybody's going to talk about whatever they want to talk about on those two topics, whichever way they want to go, and how important it is. I think each one of us have our own reasoning as to why we want to talk about it. I'm going to start off a little bit about breast cancer and how it affected me. For those who don't know, our mother is a two-time breast cancer survivor. I'm trying to remember the year. Does anybody know when she was diagnosed with breast cancer the first time? I can't remember the year, but I do remember the conversation with our other sister who's not here today. Their mom got the call and she said, which is bigger? An egg? No, a marble or I'm trying to remember that. It was a marble or a what was it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't have that conversation.
I don't know either. I'm sorry. I did this on top of my head. But at the same time, it was, she was afraid to go to the doctor. The bottom line of it was she was afraid to go because she knew cancer had been a death sentence in the family.
She didn't know. She
didn't know. She just believed that that's what it was.
She believed it.
And
yeah.
so because of that, she did not want to go. But by the time she went to the doctor, it was the size of an egg, and it had grew very aggressive. And so then she was really scared. And so it made a very big impact on all of our lives. And my mom at that time, who was very independent and very outgoing, had never been sick, had never had any type of health challenges. This impacted every last one of us in ways we never thought that, because we never saw her in a state of being weak or sick. Mind you, she raised all of us to be strong, independent Black women. And so this was something different.
So this happened when she was in her 60s or late 50s.
Mm-hmm. And mind you that she had lost her mother in her 50s. So when she passed the age of where my grandmother had died at, she felt relief that, she had hit that stumbling block. And so now to be diagnosed with something, it was devastating to her. And so for all of us, we just knew we just whatever she needed to do. I know for me, whatever I needed to do, I said I'm going to do. At that time, I had been in my business for a minute. I wasn't working a job. And I said, Mom, whatever you need to do, we're going to do it. I thank God for ANOVA, Northern Virginia Hospital. Best hospital, best doctors ever.
Yeah.
She had the best care. And we went in not knowing. She went in with no insurance, and she got the best care, y'all. Not only did she get the best care, but at the time I was at Mount Gilead and I had prayer warriors praying. In fact, I believe both of us was at Mount Gilead at that time. And we were praying, intercessors. I had, folks was praying for her and interceding on her behalf like never before. And they went in and they took, she decided to go ahead and have the breast removed at that time. They said they felt that it was very aggressive. And so she worked, y'all. She was a waitress. The people loved her. She worked, and we decided that she was going to stay in Northern Virginia. Our grandmother went and stayed with her. This is the kind of family we have. The family took care of her so that she could get the help that she needed. And so we were excited to know that we could come together. Just like we sit together, the family came together and supported her financially. She did not worry about anything. Her bills were paid, her rent was paid, her car note was paid to make sure that she had it. And so this was very important to us because we know the impact. And I don't talk enough. I'm sorry, y'all. But I just...
What's new?
Definitely used to that.
I mean, I remember being told about it. I don't consider myself extremely emotional. I remember,
What's new?
all right. So I remember not thinking and a negative thought whatsoever. And I never,
You know what? I felt like I was trying to, but at the same time, I just kind of knew she was going to be okay.
I knew, I mean, at that time I already was in a particular kind of mindset about the way that we think. It's more now, but then I really just didn't have a thought about it not being, coming out to be a positive, result. So,
Turn it off.
Share. I'm
Or
sorry.
muted.
I was trying to share, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We should have did that while she was talking.
yeah. But anyway, it did affect all of us. Just with knowing, I guess, that it's in our family now. I think some of us, if not all of us, had mammograms earlier than we would have with that. However, I don't get mammograms anymore, but that was something that we were doing because of the fact that our mother had cancer, breast cancer.
So, I guess, all right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, just think about, because as I was doing my part in pulling data, and I was listening to some videos about breast cancer and how a lot of women give mammograms. I know Lois has a reason why she don't do mammograms anymore, but statistically during COVID, people didn't do
A lot.
health checks, period. And mammograms is just another one of those health checks. A lot of times women, young women, old women don't do medical checks, period, when they should. We've got to take better care of ourselves. So I'm going to move this right into domestic violence. All because during a time when we are secluded in the house, during a time when people were fussing about alcohol, the ABC stores in the state of Virginia being open, people were fussing about the fact that why is that a what do they call it?
Essential.
Essential. An
Business.
essential business. Well, the
I
reason why
understand.
it's an essential business in a pandemic, because you had individuals who were not accustomed to dealing with each other 24/7. You
Did
had
alcohol made them deal with each other better?
yes.
No, it didn't.
It did
It,
not.
it helped
No,
some,
it
probably.
what
It
it
probably
did.
helped some,
it-
but it probably increased some domestic violence as well.
It
Well,
also helped increase the population. Just saying.
What it actually did was it helped. You had husbands who were not used to seeing their wives all the time, and wives who were not used to seeing their husbands. But not only that, mothers who were not used to dealing with their children on a
It was lot of that.
24/7.
They needed that bottle of wine.
And so you had issues where children were at home and parents did not understand did not,
I understand.
they did not understand they did not understand that coping. Kids are used to being at school 8 hours pretty much of a day. And even though the parent didn't work,
The kids wanted to
The
drink too.
kids-
The kids were probably tired of the parents.
these children
When the
were
school
not
getting back.
accustomed to having to deal with a parent that did not give them attention.
Well, that brings up a whole nother thing because that's not the way family should be anyway.
It's not, but at the same time, they were not. First of all, we took them home. We brought the kids home, and the parents were home with them. And they're not educators, right? So they did not know how to deal with teaching them.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt
Because you
Because
get
you're all the way off. We can do that discussion at another time. Right
But
now,
that's the domestic violence against children. Domestic violence.
Is it increased during COVID?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
I didn't check
it's
it.
not just for children. It
But
increased
it's from
in
each
general.
other. Right.
But what we want to discuss today is domestic violence and cancer awareness. What you were discussing is very important, and I think it is something that we should table for another time. I was going to speak about domestic violence, and the reason that I wanted to speak about that is because I've never dealt with it in my relationships, but I have seen it, and no, I didn't, because unless I was the abuser. Okay, and I mean,
So you
okay,
you
so
are
maybe I
married.
was, so I maybe
You-
was in ours
Yes.
because I wasn't allowing anyone to,
You're on the other end of it.
yeah.
But you could speak on it a little bit differently, maybe. Then
Yeah.
what kind of things?
Well,
made
that
you-
is true because in my case, I was married to a man who was on drugs, and just the sight of him used to irritate me enough that I may hit him, which of course I know now is not the right thing to do. But that's how it involved
Now you
me.
know, huh?
Now I know this. I could have did a lot differently. But I've also seen my friends who have dealt with it, and in my mind it was like, why? How are you allowing this to happen? And I just was one of those people who was like, look, I love you, but I can't be around that. I can do anything you need me to do. If you need a place to stay, come stay with me. If you need me to take you somewhere, I'll do that. But I can't be around allowing this man to put his hands on you. And any woman who's in that situation, if you find yourself in that situation, please, please reach out, because no one deserves it.
And that's a good statement. No one deserves it. And a lot of women who are in situations, everybody has their own reason, whether they know it or not, whatever the reason is why they stay. But sometimes they're unconsciously, they may think that they deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be something really deep rooted that why they stay, which you or I don't know, and they may not even know.
Or they believe that is normal.
Yes. And
You
that is one.
There's
of
a
the,
lot of reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that I would like, if you don't take anything else from our discussion, is to know that you are worthy of something else, that you're worthy of
Being
respect.
loved.
And regardless of what you've seen in life or whatever reason that's in your heart that you're allowing this to happen, look again and see that good person inside you, that no, you are not, that's not you. That's not what you should have. And reach out to someone. If it's not a friend, a family, there's 1-800 numbers that you can call. We will post a number, Patricia, that you can reach out to. She likes to do everything. So we will put a number up there for you can know that it's I Can Virginia is one of the numbers that you can call. It's 1-800-838-8238. But like I said, we will try to get her to put that out there for you. But please reach out if you need some help or if you just need to talk to someone, because there's so many organizations out there
There really
that
are.
That's
you
true.
can get some help.
There's all
You do
kinds
not
of
have
reasons
to stay in that situation. And I know it's easy for someone looking in to say, oh, it's so easy. Because if you're a mother with 4 or 5 kids and all you have is your husband, you may feel that you can't go anywhere.
Right.
So I'm not thinking that it's going to be easy or it's simple, but know that there is someone out there that is willing to listen. And if you can't get out today, maybe tomorrow, something, or maybe something that can help you even fix a situation, because your partner, he might have issues and he might need to call that number where he can figure out why he's putting his hands that way or why he's being verbally abusive. So it's just so many things that knowing why, and that way you can stop it.
Really start the process to stop
Exactly.
it. And it won't be easy.
Oh, no,
It won't be
no.
easy.
It's not going to be an overnight fix.
No.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I mean, I have an experience too, but I haven't been involved in like continual
Day to day.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a situation, and when I decided to, well, as soon as some abuse was going off, I knew that I wasn't going to stay. I actually had decided to stay. My ex-husband also had a drug issue, and I believe that led him to. He was never abusive until I said I was leaving, and I was leaving because of the drugs.
Right.
But it wasn't an easy thing. I can't even say I thought about it though. I didn't think of how hard it would be to, not have the spouse and making sure you take care of your children, because it didn't matter how hard it was.
Exactly.
The children had to be taken care of, and when I look back, they didn't deserve to be in a situation that would have, who knows what it would have been like had I stayed
later.
Well, it might have
Exactly.
been easier for you to make that decision because it wasn't a continuous
Exactly.
thing that somebody has lived with for a
Right.
period of time.
Well, see, I was so aware of domestic violence that seriously, almost every man that I've had dealings with, I have said to them, I asked them questions about that. And even my ex-husband, he was abusive to someone else. And I told him, I said, well, that didn't matter to me because I'm not her and I'm not expecting this to happen to me. And it didn't until, the situation went right. But it matters, maybe how you approach your relationship in the beginning. But yeah, hopefully I wouldn't stay in it if it was something, like that.
And that's one more, I'm sorry. That's one more thing that I did want to say. I have, I've been reading up on a lot of things with domestic violence, and I'm noticing that a lot of younger ladies are involved in relationships with abuse. And it's scary because I have young ladies, they're my babies. So when you're out there and you're getting into these relationships, think that violence is not just going to affect you, because this is a conversation that I've had with both my daughters. I've told them, please keep in mind at all times when you're dealing with people, these different men or whatever, that it's not just going to be you that gets affected. It can be you, it can be your child. I said, and it will be me, because as a mother, I know that if I found out someone was abusing one of my girls, y'all bring me cigarettes. Can they have cigarettes in jail? So just think about it. You know what I'm saying? It will affect a whole lot of people. All right, I'm good.
One of the biggest things I think that a lot of times people think that domestic violence is just physical.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's
Why
so
are these people
important.
coming up to the door?
It's so important that they realize that it's not just physical, it's also mental. And mental is critical, because when you break somebody down mentally,
It can be more detrimental
it
than the
is.
physical. Because of course, the
Totally.
physical abuse.
It's just like the emotional. It's emotional abuse
Exactly.
as well as physical abuse.
Yes.
The way you speak to someone, you can degrade someone and call them out their name and you can just tear
belittle
somebody. You can tear
them
somebody's
down.
spirit just
Yes.
down to the ground just with words.
Yes.
So it's not always just physical abuse. It can be the emotional abuse that some people may need to break away from. But those are red flags to look for in the beginning of relationships.
Mhm.
If you can tell if you've been with somebody for a little while, maybe just a few months, and they get upset, you need to pay attention when they're angry about something or get upset about something, how they react during that time, and if you see that they lash out or, get verbally abusive or
And watch
just
how
really,
they treat their
other
family,
people when they
especially
get
their
like
family
that.
members.
Yes,
You
then,
know,
you kind of like, I don't know, that's something I want to
don't treat the
do
mama
long
right.
term, but
That
you
that's
have
what
to
they
pay
say.
attention to the red flags. Those are red flags.
Yes.
Yeah, really big on how a man treats his mother.
Yes.
When they say that, I am so thankful to God that my son loves me. That the way he treats me. Now we not, when he was younger, we had a little challenge, but I know my son loves me. So the respect that he has for his mom and the love that he has, that's just like our brother had. I was thinking about him today and how he used to say, how much love he had. And when he met his wife, and he told his wife that he had 5, 6 women already, and how that responsibility. And when you meet a man like that, and that's the problem, that men don't automatically take the responsibility for their family, the wives, the women in the family. If they did, then when they meet that significant other, they know how to love them.
But let me make a comment with what you're saying, because one thing, our brother Paul, I remember talking to him about domestic violence because our father was abusive to our mother. And Paul said that he felt like because his father was that way, that it was in him to be that way. So he was very conscious of it to not be that way. And that makes me think that may be part of the reason that there are so many young men who are abusive, because unfortunately, there are a lot of young men out here that don't have good mothers. And then they may be, actually taking some of those, the anger they have about their mother not being maybe the mother she should have been, on the women in their life.
True.
That is so true. I think that has helped us because we all saw the physical abuse from our father to our mom. So first of all, that made us make decisions on what kind of men we were not going to have, what kind of relationships we were not going to get in. We
Even though
made
we couldn't stop some of the things that happened.
right.
But
But we
did happen.
But we did
right,
know
but
that
we
we weren't
knew that
looking
we
for
weren't
that.
going we weren't looking for those, and we kind of let them know. We let the men know that
Yeah, we are.
we're very vocal
I'm not gonna do it.
We're not
and
that
supportive of each other.
and supportive of each other.
Take it how you want it.
Right.
Exactly.
We're not gonna tolerate this, and you'll get a beat down if this is what's getting ready to happen. we gonna get you gonna get a beat down if this is getting ready to happen. So we want to make sure that everybody knew that how much we support and love each and every one of us in the car. And I just wanted to make sure that we talk about that. Now here's one part that we don't talk about, y'all. Is sexual abuse. That's something that's not talked about a lot, and a lot of women suffer in that, because we see the physical, we talk about the mental, but they
That's
don't.
all of that is domestic.
I know it, but no, a lot of women don't talk about, because they think it's okay because I'm married to him, I'm
It's
in a
not.
relationship with him.
Still your
But
body.
No,
I
it's
am,
no.
but you
Yeah.
know what?
Married
But
or not.
I'm
No,
I'm
it's no.
being sexually abused by my husband,
That
and that
can
is,
happen.
right.
I charged my husband, went to court. No, because if I say no, that is no. I don't care who you are, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, whoever. The word no, that's what it means. So,
No does not mean yes.
maybe later. No.
Yeah, I just, and it's not just that we just watch SUV all the time and all these sex crimes. It's, guys, we want to make sure that, and we have a lot of daughters, and so it's so important that we all understand that this body of ours
it's mine.
is mine.
Mhm.
And
Is she going to cry? She lost a thought.
A little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
because not because I've had sexual assault in my marriage, but because I've been molested. And when you have been violated in any way, shape, or form, you don't take that for granted. That when you say no, because being molested, meaning that you don't have the
position to
power,
that, yeah.
right,
Mhm.
to say no. So that's a different kind of violence.
Absolutely.
But as you know, domestic violence, when you're the sexual, and I want women to understand, to be so mindful of that, to be understanding that that is abuse, and you have a right to say no. You have full right to say no to your own. This is your body. So, we I wanted to make sure, I think everybody does, for everybody to feel safe, to make sure everybody feels secure in your own skin. That's so important.
Yeah,
To
'cause
make
this
sure.
the subject is, it's not a fun subject because it's a touchy subject for a lot of females. It's not a subject that is kindly to sit and talk about what you've been through, being it sexual assault, molested, or physical or emotional assault. All of it is violation to you and your person. I don't know. It's like, I think sometimes as Black females, it seems like it's so common, and it's not just Black females. Females,
No,
period.
right.
It's like it's almost a
Expected.
norm.
Right.
It's one of those things that happen so much that people almost don't even take it as seriously as they should.
And they accept it. And that's
right.
what
They just accept it because
It's
they're
not
embarrassed
acceptable.
about it, or ashamed
or did I
about it.
put myself in the wrong position? If I in the wrong place, was I wearing the wrong thing?
And I think that is a really bad one, because about, especially when you talk about what we wear, and as we are younger, yes, as we are younger, I'm gonna say that because I have young daughters, and they would decide on what they want to wear, and because of they wear something that accentuates their body, doesn't mean
They're
that asking for anything. It doesn't mean that somebody can touch them anywhere. It doesn't mean that that just doesn't mean that that's a yes.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that. And for somebody to automatically assume because that they are being cheap, they are being forward, they're being whatever, luring, whatever, because just because a man wears a pair of tight pants or anything that doesn't expose him, he doesn't get the same. So why is it that a woman, and that stuff burns me up to no end.
Even the pastor about the provocative clothes.
But
I know.
But one of the things I do want to say on that is that this is a little bit off subject. One of the major issues with what people wear and how they're treated is other women doing it to other women.
Yeah.
We look and we judge what this girl has on when it ain't in our business.
Right.
Because if she's comfortable wearing that, then she's comfortable wearing that. And see,
we have to get to where we all just allow other people to do whatever they do.
Exactly.
As long as
Because it's not
anyone.
hurting me. It doesn't bother me what she's wearing. Because if I was a 5-10 pounds low, I might wear it too. So you got to look at it like that. So we as women, we need to stop
stereotyping everybody.
Exactly.
Let's just say that, because they threw that little slip out there, the pastor, and they always do this. But because we stare, and I know they're just joking at me, but that's a stereotype period, not just as the pastor thing, stereotypes. They're always correcting my language. But let me say this: not only do I get it from them, but let me just kind of say this, because people stereotype people in different roles and professions all the time.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna just use me as the pastor for one, because people believe that as a pastor, I should dress a certain way, my hair should be a certain way, and this is all coming from, I have no idea. I don't know what that mold looked like. I don't know who formed that mold. I don't know where she came from and who decided that that's what she should look like. Because she don't look like me, she don't act like me, she don't talk like me, and she ain't me.
That's right.
So I want to throw that in the garbage can, because I am uniquely me.
As is everyone, and
Exactly.
everybody just needs to
Exactly.
accept that about
Right.
everyone else.
Exactly.
That she is whoever she is, I'm whoever I am, and it's all okay.
And so
And
that,
it's okay.
and that,
That's
it
why
was
it's okay for her to have purple hair.
Right,
You
right.
know?
We understand
That's
all
purple.
pastors
We
don't
get
have
it.
purple hair. This pastor do.
But when we accept people, and that helps, even when it comes to the domestic violence thing. What happens is people don't accept people for who they are, so they start to stereotype them, and then the violence becomes because you're trying to put them in a box. Husbands trying to put wives in a certain box, wives trying to put husbands in a certain box, and none of them fit
But
the box
that's why
that you're trying to put
that's
them
why
in.
when you in these domestic relationships, before they even get started good, those conversations have to be had.
Yes.
Your expectation as a husband or your man, or your expectation as a wife or your woman, what do you expect from me? Because this is how I am, and this is all I can give. This is me. This is what I do.
Well, that's
You
why people should do, some type of counseling, some type of conversations before they decide to build those
I don't
long
always
We're not
agree
gonna go there.
Not necessarily.
We're not gonna go there with the
counseling.
counseling.
Wait, if it ain't
I mean-
counseling, you should have conversation.
They should.
People don't have
That's what I said.
Okay, but we're not
counseling
going.
is conversation.
Trisha,
Why is not counseling
Trisha.
conversation?
Trisha is not the same.
It is the same.
It's not.
I mean,
Because when you say Trisha,
It's
when
an
you
option
say
for those who are interested in that.
exactly, but when you say counseling, people are thinking you want these two people to go meet with someone else and talk. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
What we're saying
I'm having
is they need to
conversation.
have conversation with each other.
That's what
In
I
order,
said.
you need to learn a person. But see, this is the thing, people. We are not going back to whatever time. Hush, let me finish. We're not going back to whatever time. In today's society, unfortunately, people don't have them conversations. They hook up, okay? But the problem is when you're hooking up, you don't know who you're hooking up with.
Right.
And if that hookup is one of these people who is violent, then you can find yourself in a situation. That is what we're saying. Have that discussion before you decide to hook up. Have that conversation before you decide to live together, before you take that next step. Because we don't want you to be one of these statistics. Another thing, when you're an outsider and you see something and this is your friend and you think something is going on, speak on it. Even if don't talk down or don't degrade, but let her know that you're there. Because that's another problem that women who are in these situations, they don't have anyone to turn to. They think that people are not going to understand. Let them know, hey, I don't know what's going on, but if you need a shoulder, if you need someone to listen to, I'm here. Reach out. Don't just ignore it, because forbid something happens and you're like, I should have spoke up. I should have said something.
That's right.
I'm finished.
well, one of the things I'm not just saying about counseling, because coaching, people have relationships and talk with coaches. They're not just necessarily counseling. But one thing I have come to find out is when people sit down and talk with an impartial person, you find out things about people that they don't necessarily say
That is
among each other. So that's when I say sit down with an impartial person to talk with. They don't have to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It's talking with somebody that's an outsider that can hear things that you all don't hear. Because when you do that, it also brings an insight to things that sometimes people don't say things that they should say.
That's why I
And
made
that's
the
why-
statement about people speaking to each other about
It still won't
who
happen.
they are,
I'm telling
who
you,
you are as a
But it can
person.
start though.
It-
It,
you
know,
it won't
it's a
happen in every
major
situation, but it
start, you
can
know
be
what I'm
helpful.
saying?
it can be helpful, but I've seen it happen over and over again where people just don't reveal themselves. Let me tell you what I know that happens.
That's true.
People will be in a relationship with each other, and then when folks come to live together, they change. That's the first step of change. As they begin to live together and they become different people.
That's
And
because
then-
they didn't have those conversations before they moved
didn't.
in together.
And then they moved in, they became a different person, and then they go to the next level when folks get married and they become a totally different person.
But even though that's true, the whole thing can change.
It can.
And in
But
some,
it's
and
called-
you don't know what person that could be happen to come across this video, and they're about to start a relationship, and gives them the information. Say, well, okay, well, I need to have some candid conversations with whoever this
Yes.
person is. So what's going on now, and what has happened repeatedly throughout time, doesn't mean it has to continue to be.
It
that
doesn't.
way.
It doesn't. But a lot of times we need things, we need triggers that bring a lot of this to the forefront so that these things can happen, because sometimes it's just that nobody ever suggested any of these things, so that some of this stuff just never happened. So that's the biggest thing that we sometimes need to think about, because it just did not happen. So
Necessary conversations.
it's always a necessary conversation.
Necessary
And
conversations.
if you don't have good communication
I mean,
skills,
there's games out there.
oh
Simply,
yeah,
there's games out there that you can make it fun. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
people,
yeah.
and if you
To
just
learn
be
about it.
honest
Mhm.
and answer the questions correct, honestly, it can reveal things to a person
It
that
will.
they may not know. But you have to take the time.
Everybody's got to
It
be
takes time.
committed to doing this, to building a relationship. So, guys, we getting ready to close, but before we do have a moderator. So, if you all have any questions that you would like to ask us on either one of these topics, or anything about us that you've heard tonight, please put it in the comment, and so our moderator can let us know what it is. Whatever.
What is?
Her language today.
I don't know what's going on tonight.
I don't know either. Because I've been laughing.
Shut up. Any questions, anybody? Any questions, moderator, that you've seen? Any questions that we have that we need to address? Any comments that you've seen that we need to respond that has been spoken tonight?
Any comments?
What's the address?
207. 849. And if there's a topic, we've planned this out for the rest of the year. So, guys, if there's topics that you guys would like for us to discuss coming in 2022, go to our page and let us know. We want to talk to things that matter to you all, because I'm sure they matter to us.
I don't know if she apologized because we wasn't here last month. Did you say anything about
No, I did not apologize because we were not here last month. But
that?
what?
Last month.
But we are going to be consistent and be here once a month as we promised. We are definitely enjoying this. I think that we are.
I do.
I think we're enjoying this.
I think this was one of the better ones. I think I spoke more,
Yes, you did.
but that's because this topic is very
You're so passionate about it.
Yeah. I think when we have topics that we enjoy, topics that
And we are missing one of us tonight.
one of our sisters
Not the
is
same
having
without
some
her here
challenges.
with us.
So she's resting like she needs to. But I think we carry the load. We did a
Yes.
good job.
I think you did all right.
It would have of course been better had she been.
Yes.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. All right. If there's no, the moderator didn't give us anything. No. Okay. Miss
Okay.
Moderator,
Thank you.
thank you. We appreciate you. Miss Moderator, do you have anything that you wanted to ask us? Since there was no questions from the audience, we appreciate each and every one
What'd
of
you say?
you.
I can't hear you. You got me on mute, girl. I don't hear you. The moderator having technical difficulties. There you go. Yes.
And if you are first time,
Okay, there's a question. Hold on.
oh, sorry. There's a question.
What's the question? Oh, comment.
Is it up there? Can you see it?
The question is associated with nonverbal. She's having difficulty explaining it, but there's verbal abuse, and of course we know there's physical abuse.
Mhm.
But she was asking, could anyone speak on the nonverbal, like maybe certain actions that people do that
Emotional abuse.
yeah, I guess it.
That's connected to emotional work.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like isolation,
Okay.
things like that, or
Yeah, like
Cold
with, like
shoulder.
being isolation. As far as where you were, maybe you had a certain kind of relationship, whether it's sexual or just your regular interaction, and it's changed where it's non-existent, and you're not necessarily knowing what's going on with that, why that's happening. I mean,
communication.
yeah, that doesn't necessarily seem like a kind of abuse, but it's definitely something that's going on in the
well, it
relationship.
could be an abuse. So let me give an example. One of my daughters, for a while,
Not sexual, just someone who is basically ignoring that you exist. No attention.
so it kind of almost sounded like one of the relationship one of my daughters was almost where it's kind of like isolation, and was isolating them from the family, but yet they weren't giving them any attention at the same time. It's like
They're all you got, but
they
then
all
you
they
only
got,
got
but
them.
right?
But they're pulling out
But
too.
they're pulling away.
But they still ain't gonna let you go.
Let you
where
go
else
with
is.
it, right? They wanted you to feel like I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, but at the same time,
You ain't got me.
you ain't got me. And sometimes the only way this is what I believe. You first of all, you got to look deep in yourself, and you got to make sure first that you understand how important you are. Because you got to first love yourself, because in order for you to get out of that, because that's the key. You got to get out of that, and you got to begin to get back and love yourself. And hopefully that you have enough people, like my daughter had, the family, that no matter what, that they're still pulling on you, they're still loving on you, they're still treating you with love and kindness, no matter what else is going on. Because sometimes if you don't have that, if you don't have people loving on you, no matter what's going on, you still are going to feel isolated. So you got to surround yourself with positive people.
Right.
You got to find a way, even because that's a negative situation. And so in order to do that, you got to see that you deserve better. But it's got to start on the inside of you. Because if you don't see that you deserve better, you're not going to be looking for better. Because that is abuse. Because the goal is for
But
you.
I think everybody will have a breaking point, though, that they can't take this no more. And that would just, you know what I'm saying?
Because
Nobody is going to
that
just,
can
well,
follow.
most people will not just stay in that until they'll get to a point to where everybody has a breaking point.
what in my opinion, I think what Rachel was saying was, so let's say me and your best friends, and you kind of pull away, but you don't really give me, it's like I know that you're leaving, but I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just kind of just cut it off. And I don't know if that's so much as an abuse, and it's an abuse of our friendship, because as a friend, if
But
something went wrong,
I can see it feeling like abuse because one, you don't know why, and especially if you're emotionally connected to an
Exactly.
Yeah,
individual.
because that would hurt your feelings.
Right.
Exactly.
Especially if you don't know what is going on. There's nothing being
Exactly.
explained why these things
Right.
just kind of
But
stop.
what that person needs to be able to do is communicate with them. Even if that person is pulling away and is not speaking, you need to either sit down and try to have a discussion with them, write them a letter, something to say, hey, look, if something's wrong, can we talk? Something.
Right.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
treating me like this is making me
Me
feel like
feel-
this.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's
Things
gotta
were
be
this way, and now I'm wondering they're different.
and just explain to me, and if we need to go our separate ways, then that's one thing. But let's talk and find out. We have too much into this friendship, this, whatever,
Situation, right?
before we just let it go.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's more of what I think she was referring to.
But I think still, even in that, when you know your worth, you
Yes, but that's
But
not.
but knowing your worth is a whole.
You can
It's a
know
whole thing.
your
It's
worth, but
necessary
somebody
for
still
everyone,
treats
but
you
that's
that
a
way.
process.
Exactly.
That's not going to happen overnight.
But what
And
the person
anybody
asks-
who feels like any woman that feels like they know their worth, they didn't always know their worth.
Exactly.
They got
They had to get
And
to
you
that
know
point.
what?
Yes.
And your feelings still can be hurt.
Exactly.
You know,
Because
Yeah, but
I mean,
but
if
you-
somebody pulls
by the
away
way
from
somebody
you,
treats
exactly,
you,
you still.
that you're
The whole
close
thing
to.
has got to be the person wanted to know. I think, was there something to do in that situation?
Or what type of abuse. So
Exactly.
that's a certain type of
And-
abuse.
okay. So I guess
That's
the
emotional
question,
abuse too.
That's
though.
yeah, but that's what I'm
Emotional.
saying. So
I-
that was my word earlier.
Yeah.
Was that not what I said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I guess did we answer the question for the person who asked it?
It is a form of
Because
emotional
it is emotional abuse, but that's again, if you're being emotional abused, it starts on the inside of you.
It does start on the inside of you, but at the same time, it's very easy to say, and it's definitely true.
It
It's
starts
true.
on the inside of you.
We agree to disagree.
Yes. we
Yes,
do.
I definitely agree to disagree with my sister Patricia Winfield.
We always agree.
Okay. Was there anything else, Rachel?
That you think that information
That's
was,
all we
was
had.
helpful, moderator?
Is there any more on there?
I don't know who.
What's that over there, Tristan?
I was just waiting to see if that person didn't respond on whether or not that answered that question. Whoever's made this over where? That's
On the right side.
this is the comments.
No, you're not.
Did
Responding to them?
Rachel, no,
So-
I'm not responding. They're just making comments.
Oh,
They're not asking questions
oh,
necessarily.
okay.
Okay.
Rachel's talking.
Yeah, because she that's what she's moderating. She's on hearing it, so that way.
Well, see, this basically there was some difficulty with explaining. However, the person who is wanting to know the answer to the question, they already know their worth, and they already been raised in a way to know
Right.
that to value themselves.
Right.
But at the same time, this other person that they're dealing with, the way that they're expressing things to them or lack they're explaining to them is still really, really affecting them. So it's just a hard situation to try to figure out what is really going on so that they don't have to
Because
be feeling that
you
way.
can't
Exactly.
force nobody to communicate.
But that's one of the things why I said,
Yeah,
either
that's
try to sit down with them. They don't want to do that. Write them a letter, and then you need to say, you know what, that's fine.
Let it go.
I'm gonna have to just walk away from this because if you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna communicate
So
with
I'm
me.
here when you're ready to talk.
Exactly.
Well, actually,
You know.
writing letters or notes or whatever you want to
Release
call it,
it. It's releasing.
it's a release, but
Yeah.
it can definitely be a way to start
A
some cute
conversation.
conversation with someone that
Exactly.
you don't know how to start a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And even if they don't say anything to you after you provide that kind of communication with them, at least you know they heard you.
Exactly.
You gave them.
Right.
You said your piece in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At least that gives you something to say. Well, hey, I did everything I can do.
Yeah, definitely know that you're not a doormat. That was the comment somebody just made.
What they say?
Know that you're not a doormat.
Okay, yeah, we definitely ain't gonna be no doormat.
Yeah.
And don't want none of y'all to be one either.
No, we definitely. Yes, that's cousin Judy.
No, okay.
we know Judy. We know doormat. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Any other?
No.
All right, guys. This was good. You know, these kind of topics are a lot of times hard to discuss, and a lot of people
Have
don't-
different views.
right. I mean, because we all have different views, but people don't want to talk about them because they are hard to talk about, and they're sensitive. You know, because when you bring up trauma, things that have happened in your past, people don't want to bring up that sensitive stuff if they get exposed, because you got to be mindful of what is going to open up. And,
But
Well, you know,
You have to
everybody's
know.
not ready.
Everybody's
Right.
definitely not ready.
And that's
But
fine.
if
but
they
your
can
time
take
will-
anything, I mean, I would want someone to take away from it that to value yourself and know that you deserve to be treated in the best way.
That's right.
You know, completely loved.
That's right.
and just always, you know, besides the 1-800 number that I put on there, that, you know, whenever you need help, seek help. Never think that there is not someone that can help you through some situation. There is always somebody that's a phone call away. I said that the other day on a prayer call, and gave my phone number out, and somebody called me, you know, because you don't suffer in silence. No matter what the situation is, you pick up the phone and you call somebody, because somebody can, you know, we've all been on a ledge.
And one of the other things that pretty much goes with that, what I was saying, if you're seeing something, reach out to that person, letting them know, because you never know that one day that they're having such a bad day, you reaching out to them could really save their life.
Yeah.
So if you see it, you think it, let them know that you're there.
That's why it's important as females to lift each other up anyway on a regular. Even
Yes.
if you don't know somebody, compliment somebody. You know, make something, because they may not have
Just that one
nobody
little
else
good comment can just make
saying
their day.
anything nice to them at home when they leave there. They may not even speak to anybody other than those they work with and when they go home.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
And then when it's
so-
working from home, a lot of people don't have any kind of interaction,
Right.
myself especially.
Right.
But and it's
So
like some,
compliment
so
people, you know.
The next person y'all see in the grocery store, make sure y'all speak.
Or
Somebody.
if you see something on somebody that they
They
wear
look
something
nice
you
on
like
them, yeah.
or whatever, you know, let them know you like it. You know,
it's nothing
Compliment
wrong
them.
with
It's
that.
nothing
Some
wrong with
people
that
act like
at all.
they can't speak when you
right.
we can
Make
speak.
somebody
It's
feel
okay.
good.
I think some women are changing. I've been seeing
More,
more women
mhm,
complimenting each other. I mean, I
mhm.
definitely do that.
I do too.
But and we should do that, because sometimes people just, I don't know, they're worried about someone being offended or
Mhm.
why you even looking at me or
It's
things
like,
of that nature.
yes,
But
yes.
it's
That's
all
why
love.
just don't look at them. Say something.
Yeah.
You know, because people do think you just staring at them. You know, like, well, you're
Yeah,
staring at
that
me
is
like
kind of
that.
irritating if somebody staring me in my face and don't speak.
Look, I love
well,
the
you know what?
shoes you got on. Look,
I
look at
talk
them
to
shoes.
everybody. You
You your
know,
mama's child.
I know. You know what? Miss Keisha just said on there. True. I call she said P. Thomas. That's what she called me, P. Thomas, and she is my friend's mom. And I reach out to her with things I don't talk to my friend about. So you know, it doesn't matter, guys. You know, I connected with them through my daughter, but that don't mean that I won't talk to them. I talk to all people. Y'all know that.
Yes.
So they call me all the time. I'm okay with everybody calling me.
I ain't.
Me neither.
I take
I
off.
get calls too, and I don't mind. I do not mind getting the calls
just
that
call
I
me.
get. So
I'll take them and they'll think I don't mind. 'Cause
No,
I'll help them.
well, y'all get calls. I get people come to the house and want to come in my room and say, "Can I talk to your mama?" Yeah, baby, what's going on?
Hey family, hey Tyra. Look guys, we are excited about just being for real sisters and being able to share and help everybody through everything. We thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for joining us. If there's any other topic that you guys want again for the upcoming year 2022, let us know. We already got our topics laid out for the rest of 2021. We will meet you all back here next month on the 4th Friday of the month at 7 p.m.
One does have an H at the end.
month.
Hers don't.
Not her
Hers don't.
Listen, I am so tired of them correcting me tonight.
But
Then-
she's not tired because she
Because
hasn't
she's
started
not.
doing it properly.
I think it's one of those things she do for additional attention.
Look, it
We
must
do
be.
a lot of things for
For
attention.
attention. You see the purple
Let
hair,
me
don't you?
just say this. Let me just say this because
Say it, don't because what?
What?
Say it.
see, they get to correct me and say that my grandma is horrible,
Anybody
We
say
said it
that?
was horrible.
and evidently it's been horrible tonight.
Okay.
Well, you know it's been
You
horrible
had
tonight. You
to-
admitted it yourself.
We don't agree with
But
you.
normally it's really good.
We're not gonna go there, but
All right, y'all. Good night. I'm just going to end that on that note. I love my sisters. We
Love you
are
too.
the For Real Sisters, and we thank you guys for joining us. I pray that you all have a wonderful weekend. Meet me here tomorrow morning.
Oh, they go to
She
shameless
got
plug.
Meet me here tomorrow morning at 9:30 live with
Mm.
Pastor P. Saturday mornings live with Pastor P. I love you.
And this heathenist sister is on her way to a hip hop show in Virginia Beach. So you can meet me there.
That's right, sister.
Let me get my plug in.
Okay.
Say LB7 Inc. God perform.
We all got something to do. I'm going to go home, be with my hubby.
I'm going to a friend's house.
I'm going to home with my granddaughter.
We are the For Real Sisters. Good night, everybody.
night.
I
Have a
love
blessed
you.
one.
God bless you.
Bye-bye. I was gonna go, but
You gonna go with me?
Okay.